and on NTV Kenya, we have been talking to the aspirants who are going to represent Baringo. One of them is going to represent Baringo County in the next 5 years. I do have all of them on stage. If you take our first session, we discussed a lot about healthcare. We delved into corruption. We also spoke a little bit about water. But there's so many issues and so many questions that we still haven't touched. I have a very able panel with me and an incredibly great audience. If you could please clap so that Kenyans can see that we have an audience. All right, we remain with our format, the same, that we minimize on clapping, cheering, and jeering so that we give our aspirants enough time to talk to us and give us their conversations. Please take to your lanterns, gentlemen. So on this side of the format, we want to go to the straight issue of peace and security. Now, we do acknowledge security is not a devolved function, but a well-meaning governor should foster amicable coexistence among communities living in Baringo County. We do know that in the last few months, Baringo County has been in the news for all the wrong reasons, insecurity. The question is this: now that we know, and it's no contention, that perhaps you have little to do with security, on the questions of what we have today, how do you intend to fix the question of insecurity in Baringo County once and for all? Let me start with you, Richard Koech.
Thank you very much, James Smart. We cannot talk about insecurity without talking about the underlying issues. There are really serious underlying issues, causes and root causes of this challenge. It is a real issue that we have to address it and address it very urgently. One, the Tiati sub-county is actually 45% in landmass of the entire Baringo County. It is depicted by high levels of illiteracy, high levels of poverty. There is a lot of marginalization. And so if we have to address this issue, I would want to address the long-term issues first. One, we have to open up Tiati for development. And we have to address the issue of pasture. We have to address the issue of poverty by actually dealing with irrigation.
Can these people come out clearly and we educate them and motivate them to live out a culture that promotes such issues? So it's time we face the reality if we have to end this. Otherwise, the issue of cans is a short-term solution, not a long-term solution. Okay. So if I come in, I want to ensure that we sit down and agree. We have the goodwill of everybody and the government needs to come out very clearly so that we pool our resources, our ideas and knowledge for the sake of peace.
Okay. Brother Sialo.
Thank you very much, James Smart. The question of security, I had earlier said that I have a specific way I want us to address the issue of insecurity in Baringo. Because without cohesion and without peace, we cannot build a robust, beautiful, blessed county, a livable homeland. So one, the first bucket would be to recheck how we can work with the national government, because of course you understand that county government and the national government works in a complementary, consultative way. We have to relook the structure and the architecture of the security in the county. That is number one. And that involves working out how we can go through the county using what he has already mentioned, the villages devolution, so that we can be able to tap the knowledge that these people have right at the grassroots. Because there is no community that doesn't know their people. There is no community that doesn't know the criminals or the good people. It is only paramount that we go back to them so that we can build this understanding from there. And please give me a second. You see, the issue and the phenomenon, the insecurity problem in Baringo is not a new phenomenon. Before even we gained independence in this country, before the self-rule, internal self-rule, already the British were in Baringo. And they are the ones who armed the Pokot because they were expanding north toward Ethiopia. And this has gone into the Saki system of the Pokot. This has to be a social agenda. And the social agenda that we must bring, we have to bring the communities, the professionals in Pokot, the churches in Pokot, and then the natural communities. It is the only way we can start to change people from inside out. Number two is to be able to ensure, and that is the second bucket that I'm talking about, is to open the place. Open the place for business. First of all, it is infrastructure. The broadband, what we have here is only in Mogotio and Eldamara. We need it to go. Okay. And that's why I keep saying, let the CAS FM and the NTV come so that we can partner together. So that we can take that there and we can use the broadband, the internet, the 5G to ensure that we are checking the security issues there.
Thank you.
Second is, of course, jobs and jobs.
Thank you. Please give to Professor.
Thank you very much. In my manifesto, pillar number 4, I've really mentioned about the issue of security and peace building. Because for you to enhance and for you to maintain security, it is a collaboration amongst the people living within that county and Tiati and its neighbors. So peace building is very paramount. We've got to start from the lowest level up to the highest level. And for that case, I'm going to ensure that the village level, they are able to appreciate the importance of peace, and this will be moving towards also the county leadership. And I'll lead from the front. As the governor of Baringo County, I will ensure that I bring all the leaders together, right from the village level up to the elected positions, so that we speak in one language and agree that this is a cake, it's unacceptable, it is not acceptable in the modern world. And in addition, of course, the long term is what the other colleagues have talked about. We've got to ensure that the people of Tiati are also part of Baringo. And therefore, development has to be taken there. Okay. As a matter of long term and also in the short term. But I said before that we've got to compensate the livelihoods. It is not acceptable for somebody to lose a dear person and in addition to lose their livelihoods. Who will pay for the fees for such students in schools and etc.? Okay. So the government, I'm going to lead from the front as a governor to ensure that the fees and their livelihoods are restored as we look for long-term solutions.
Okay, please.
Well, thank you very much on this topic of security. This is our challenge in Baringo. And from the onset, I said there are 3 options. Option number 1 is education. in Tiati constituency, 9 children who should be in school, 9 out of 10 kids who should be in primary school are at home. We must get that number back to school. We must use all available resources, all available strategies to make sure that kids who should otherwise be in school are in school. And that should be able to start immediately. It should not wait for construction of classrooms. Both governments, the county government, the government I'll be leading, together with the national government, yes, we must work together to see that the poor child in school. The second issue, which is also short-term, are the communities who are seriously affected now by insecurity. That is the community of Mochongoi Ward, the communities in Mukutani Ward, the communities in Saimosoi Ward, and the communities in Partabwa Ward. We need to support them. National government has given them some NPRs, has registered, has allowed them to NPRs to operate in that particular, those 4 wards. Yes, I will come in to support by making sure that these NPRs get some cash transfer, that they get some stipend, so that they can be more motivated to protect their turf.
Okay.
The third issue is the topic on development, and specifically water. People are in Kerio, because in the entire Baringo now, if your animals, you have 500 goats, the only place you can get water is Kerio River. You'll have to go to Kerio. Everyone must go to Kerio, whether there's insecurity, whatever the levels of insecurity.
Right.
If you're in Marakwet, you must come to Kerio. If you're in Baringo, you must go to Kerio. I must make sure that people don't go to Kerio by making sure that, like I said earlier, we shall do 4,000 water plants in Baringo per year. On the other part of Tiati, people have huge numbers of animals, goats and sheep and cows. They must go to Arabal because, again, water. I'm sure when we make sure that there are a lot of incentives for people to be permanently settled. Once you do your water pan, you don't need to travel again. You know that's your water, you know that's your home, you know that's where you live. And then finally, the last issue again is to make sure that the communities in Tiati, we must give them title deeds so that you are in an individual land. Unafunga shamba yako. You are in your farm. You take care of your farm. You protect your grass. So those are my 4 strategies to make sure that this issue of insecurity is sorted out in Baringo.
All right. Governor?
Thank you. Let me start with what have we done. As a county, we have done, as Mheshimiwa Lesonet has just concluded, Churo, in the next 2 months or 3, they will be the first locals in Tiati to get titles. So we have demarcated the entire Churo ward, almost 800 square kilometers, using the new technology, and they appreciate it. That is the way to go. We are also doing Baringo South, all the way to where there are a bit of conflict. That's what we have done, and we shall continue ensuring that budgetary aspect has been considered, especially in land. Number 2, I wish to call upon the national government, because secondary school and primary schools, basic education is a function of the national government. Let them put affirmative action, such that they work with because they have council of elders within themselves. They have a very good way, a system of interacting. So I wish that every age school child must be in school. If you are 5 years, 6 years and above, let a mechanism be put in place such that they all go, because this is about mindset. It's about changing the mind. So that is what will bring also sustainable peace. While they are in school, borrowing from him is that we have also requested the national government to do boarding facilities, right from ECD to Form 4. Let's have a number of those. They've done one in Amaya, which actually incorporates the Samburus, those in Laikipia and those in Tiati, a school, which is called School for Peace. So let's have a number of these institutions. And then feeding program. We had no feeding program before, but we started this year.
Okay.
So feeding program that will encourage learners to be in school, because we are talking about food insecurity there. They're food insecure. So if we put feeding program to all institutions, especially ECDs and the primary schools, then learning will be perfected. Another thing is something that I normally mentioned, and it has been in my mind, that let us encourage insurance. Why don't we encourage our people to insure their livestock? Yeah, that will actually bring about this compensation. is a huge factor that is debatable.
Okay.
So I wish that we come up with an insurance such that will address this. And then there's also this other very important thing.
That's your final
Baringo
point.
North, Baringo South, and Tiate, those areas, the issue of economic development has been slow. So I wish that we put development. Development is in the aspect of water, in the aspect of road infrastructure. We have given security roads to the national government. Let them support us, give us the money, and support us in this aspect. We have started this new program of purchasing machines. Now Ravine has gotten right. We are now getting for Baringo South. Sooner or later, I will call upon Tiate to embrace purchase of machine for both the road infrastructure and also for water bans, because those cavities will only pass in coming up with water, so that they may diversify their economic activities, not only about cows, but let's also embrace agriculture and other forms of activities. Okay. Sooner or later, I want also to present this, that that opening of the road of Loruk all the way to Parapelo, to Marij Pass, that area is now will actually be opened up because of opening up, and then the LAPSET will open Tiati. So I want to actually appreciate the national government for coming up with that program that will address the issue of economic development in that region. Thank you very much.
Boy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smart. I want to be a bit different. I have some experience in the issue of insecurity in this region. And we made reasonable steps during the time that I was governor. Let us not look at Tiati as if it is a place where people have not gone to school. And I want to acknowledge what is happening there. The current MP and the previous MP have invested heavily in school development. That is a fact. We also invested heavily when we were in government on opening up of ECD centers in almost every school. Now all children who are born are going to ECD schools, and they are proceeding to primary school. What I can tell you about this thing called insecurity, sometimes it is bigger than we think. Let us be honest. If you go to Tiate, there is peace. There are only criminals who pursue cattle from neighboring communities. And this is why I keep on saying that the national government must enforce security and ensure that criminals are arrested. That's why I say the government can be able to solve that thing once and for all. Yes, we have started before. We have done a lot of boreholes in Tiati. We have done a lot of water pumps in Tiati. We have ensured that dispensaries and hospitals are built. We have ensured that roads are built. These things have happened. What was happening in 2013 is not what is happening now. It is different. It behoves on us as government to ensure that we build on the strengths that we have done before. Let me add to say this, that development projects that are going on, in fact, the issue of transforming the livestock sector, and I say that in Tiate, Baringo South, Baringo North, the bordering counties, these people rely on livestock. We need to make sure that there is a better system, and we started by improving the quality of the animals, by ensuring that the animals are properly sprayed, by ensuring that we are supporting them to do pasture, by ensuring that water is available. Those things are clear, but the government must come in and enforce the law. When a thief is a thief, yes, there are even people in Baringo County who are thieves. There are people in Kiambu who are thieves. They are dealt with as thieves. And it is not the Pokot community entirely, because I, as governor, have been to every part of Tiati in enforcing development projects. So this issue, we must not make it look like it is the Pokot community alone or the Pokot community as a whole. It is insecurity in the sense that people are stealing. And that these solutions, yes, they are welcome. We must address them. But we should not be able to condemn every citizen. I mean, we cannot condemn people from Kiambu because they are of bank robbers. We cannot condemn people from other parts of the county because they are criminals who rape children. We must be able to look at the problem and deal with it. And that can only be done when there is an intergovernmental relations system between the governments of the counties and the government of the counties and the national government,
Okay.
where there is horizontal relationship between county government of Baringo, county government of West Pokot, and within the county, the administration in the national government, that must be the solution. And it is going to be solved. It will take time, but it will be solved. Thank you very much.
Okay, I want to go to the next point, and this one I want help from my audience, and it's a question on equality and inclusion. A show of hands, how many women are in this podium today? Can I see women? Okay. How many of women in the audience today feel represented in the county government? How many? Only one. All right. That says something, right? That says something about representation. So I'm going to start with women. I want one volunteer to come here and tell me exactly why they feel excluded. All right? Do I have any volunteer? Any woman who feels not represented? Please come. Please come. Yeah. And want us to be very practical on why you feel you're not represented, all right, in the county government of Baringo today. So state your name and your point.
My name is Monica Yator. I'm the director of Indigenous Women and Girls Initiative. Why am I feeling not represented is that where are women in this podium? Don't we have women who want to vie as governors? The question is why? Okay, another question is, the corruption we have in this county makes us not to vie because even the voters here are corrupt. They will ask for kitigdogo, and we have money to give them. Becoming a governor is very expensive. They can tell us how much they will spend to be a governor in this county. So, citizens, can we be tolerant? And also, for us to get a good governor, we must be tolerant. And also, let's put them in the weighing scale. Already we have best manifestos, but do they have a chance? Do they have a chance? Yes or no? Why? The why is, thank you.
Okay. She has a straight question. Thank you very much. You can go back. How much are you willing to spend so that you can be governors? How much? It's a very specific question. All right? Let me start with you, Chalagan. I'm looking for a figure.
Well, I've just started, and it looks enormous because I'm a new entrant.
How much have you spent so far?
Close to 15 million.
All right. How much are you going to spend in this whole process? How much are you willing to spend?
Well, if I had enough, I didn't want to spend any more. Yes, I will make in my final remarks.
All right. Okay. Richard.
Politics in Kenya is really expensive. My budget is around 37 million. That is what has been drawn as a budget. I don't know exactly how much I'll spend. Maybe I'll spend less or more. But I'm willing to cut down because I'm an accountant. But the whole issue of campaign expenditure is something that we really need to address as a country because it is perhaps way out of the reach of many of us, including women,
That's
because
why there's no women in that podium.
that's an economic issue.
Right. Okay. How much?
Is it a question of money?
How much? Yes.
Let me say this. I think I'm going to frame it differently. How much money are you going to spend is not the question.
What's the
The question is, where are you getting the money that you want to spend? Because President Obama in the US used to get $10, $5, $50, $100 from ordinary citizens. This is the approach that I'm using. I am asking friends, citizens of this county, can you contribute something small so that we can be able to run this campaign? We need money for fuel. We need money for posters. We need money for all the kind of paraphernalia that you see. This is not possible for a person to get from his pocket. The point is, it is the incumbent upon citizens to help their leaders to present themselves as well as they can, so that they can be able to decide whether that person is able to govern or not. Because if you are going to spend 50 million yourself from your own sources, where are you going to get it back from? And yet the salary is less than 50 million in 5 years. So the issue is, we as citizens of this nation, we as residents of Baringo County, must chip in and support your leaders who are running for government, so that when they qualify or when they get elected, they will not go into the cookie jar to dip their hands in there.
So
and that is what
that's good, but you've not answered my question.
Yes.
I'll
The
have to go
answer,
back to my question.
you want me to say a figure?
How much are you willing to spend?
20 million at most, but mostly coming from people.
So people will give you the money?
Yes, including you, Smart. Even if you can do a check for me today, I'll be very happy.
I'm not convinced yet. But anyway, Governor.
Thank you very much. The ladies in the room, here is an example. This issue that you have overrated the campaign money. You're asking me how much did I use in 2013? How much did I use in 2017? Let me be very sincere to the ladies. Please come out. I had only 2 million in 2013. And then, friends, we went up to closer to 6 million. And that money went to fuel and some logistics. Now, 2017, did I even get to 10 million? So ladies, come out. Have the will and the heart of service to humanity. Just come out. These human beings will let you in. Don't get scared with that huge money. Let me tell you, our people are good. It's only the challenges which are there, the poverty challenge. But our people are good. If you present yourself as a person that can transform lives and somebody who can interact with the people and show them the way, that I'm telling you, these people will vote you in. I can calculate for you. You need maybe 2 vehicles per day. 5,000 each, that is 10. Time is how many days? And then maybe those of them will be in vehicle are 5. 5 times 2 are 10. Each one give them 1,000. That is 10,000 per day. So that is 20. 20 times 30 is how much? 600,000. Is it a million? For 30 days, 600 million. Ingine makosa ingine is handouts. This issue of Ila Adrisha, you cannot quantify that. It can be 20, it can be 200 million. That's the only thing that I'm telling you, you can't quantify that. But the campaign money, posters and all that, you don't require above 10 million. But it is these other logistics. So I think I've answered you. So ladies, come out.
I'm afraid you've not answered my question.
Maybe, yeah, I borrowed the idea of 20.
You've borrowed the idea of 20 million.
Yes, it's the highest. But they have capped that at 7 for Baringo County. For other counties, they have capped at 55. But for us, it's 37.
Okay.
So,
all right. Listenette, how much are you going to spend in this campaign? I hope you are honest. I'm looking for honesty this time.
Yes. Yes. I have done several elections. I have done elections from the year 2007 when I contested the first time. And specifically in the party nominations, in that year of 2007, I spent 800,000 shillings. In 2013, because I was now a serving member of parliament, and again, the party nominations, URP, I spent 3 million shillings in the party nominations. In 2017, party nominations, Jubilee Party, 4.5 million shillings. So I intend to keep my expenditure, including in this election, within my means. Because when you attract investors, you are telling them, support me so that you will supply drugs. You are telling them, support me so that you can do roads. Support me so that you can be a cartel, a senior cartel, when I become governor. So I will work very hard and pray God that my budget remains lean. And we have just very few days to the nomination. I am happy I'm still within my means. I am happy I'm still within my budget. And again, I am very serious on what I want to do in Baringo County. Just like I was serious in what I want to do in Eldama Ravine, and that is why the residents of Eldama Ravine have elected me 3 times clean without spending much money. I
So
know
what's
my
your budget?
opponents. I know my opponents in Eldama Ravine. I know how much they spent. 20 times, maybe more than me. I'm still able to win election on that small budget. So I have just told you, Smart, that I
You've
don't
not
think
given
I'll
me
do.
a number.
Yes, I will not do more than 10 million shillings in this.
Not more than 10
gubernatorial
million.
election. Yes.
Okay. All right. Professor, hand over the microphone, please.
Yeah.
How much is your budget?
Now, there are guidelines from IEBC. And in the guidelines, the way it's been mentioned, it's about 40 million thereabout. It oscillates between 37 and 55 for all the counties. Of course, that kind of money is not available. I intend to make it to be bare minimum. So I'm looking at a figure of half what they are suggesting, a figure of there about 20 million. And because of this, the strains you get around, it is not surprising that some people are hawking positions as chief officers and CECs as a way of raising funds. But I must say that one of the honest ways of doing this is to call friends. And many of us have asked for people to join us in dinners and ETC as a way of supporting the cause.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
How much?
I want to answer it like this. I am a blessed man. I am a child of grace. Even though I am a homeboy, village boy from Ogotio, I say that God has blessed me. And I have not been in the public service. I have been in the private sector. So I am coming here understanding what the budgets is all about in campaigns. Of course, I understand that the budgets can sometimes go higher. And I have tried it before to run for MP. And I know what I spent. So I can calculate times 6 constituencies. So, of course, I am the only one among all these candidates who have gone online, on Twitter, on Facebook, and even put up my own personal website so that I can call my friends and people who desire change and economic transformational change in Baringo and social agendas that will impact this county and that we can be able to bring back capital into this county. And I have told these people, if you invest in me, I'm going to make sure that you will be happy of this county, you will live in this county, and you will invest in this county, and you will learn in this county, and you will have leisure in this county. That is why I am the only one, actually, even though they are talking about friends, I am the only one who has gone asking people to finance. I have already raised 15 million, and I am thinking people closer to me can raise another 5, and I can go public and raise the rest. If
So your budget is 20 million?
About there.
Okay. Okay, so back to my audience. Do we believe these figures? Show of hands, anyone believe the figures we have tonight? Show of hands, everyone who've not believed anything you've had. All right, you have some work to do. Yeah, it appears that was a lie, but we'll move on swiftly. So I have one final question for women. Where's... Okay, so one final question on women before we move to the next.
I'm Chabichi. My question is, who among you is ready to choose a woman as their deputy governor today?
All right, stay here. You did this response. Who's choosing a woman deputy governor today? We have no women represented there. That looks awful. It looks bad. Any commitments? Any takers?
I am.
Chalagat? All right. Have you found a female deputy governor already?
Not to disclose at this moment.
All right. It's still open.
Still open for women. Can they see me?
Excuse me.
Hang on.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
Excuse me, see me.
What I'm saying, of course, let's get in touch to know who are there. and ready for this journey.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. No one wants to make a commitment about a female deputy governor and the rest of the team. I'll move on. It's okay. If you have not ready, you don't want it, it's okay. Lesonette. And I hope it's not a story. Like, I hope you're making a commitment.
No, I just want to say that yes, we are required by law to appoint deputy governors. And in my assessment, I'm already on a short list, and a short list of 3 names. And in those 3 names, one is a woman. Okay? So there are 2 men and 1 woman on that short list. And also specifically, because I come from Eldama Ravine constituency, those 3 and whoever I will pick as deputy governor must come from the constituency we are in, this constituency of Baringo Central. So that is the story I wanted to give you. That is a short list. I just hope that one woman will make it to the final list.
All right. Okay. So let the record reflect that the rest are not considering female candidates. Is that okay? And we move on. Right. I don't need response. You're not considering. Let's move on to youth. How many youth are in this place today? Show of hands, youth. All right. How many feel represented in the government today? 1. Okay. Can I have 1 youth to come and explain the frustration of the youth here? 1. Okay. Come. All right, as he makes his way. Please state your name and your frustration.
Thank you. My name is Joel Ruto. One of my biggest frustration is representation of the youth. Among all these governors, I've never had one speaking about the youth. And for your information, Mr. Sir, job employment at the county government, it is at about 20% youth. I've done a research here because I'm a researcher. It's about 20%. The youth are the majority. The only work they do is they are just voting them in. After the campaign, they are forgotten forever. I want to ask the youth who are in this all this night. I want to urge you, my friends, if we are not going to stand and speak our voices, we are going to be doomed. I was asking, yes, I have a question. 2, all of them. I want to ask, what is happening in Baringo County Referral Hospital? It's becoming a mock. What I am saying here is not practical. Because I've been there, so many people have been dying because of...
Thank you. Let me go straight to the governor. Is it factual? Is it true?
Yes.
That
yes.
you have less representation of youth in your government?
To be sincere, let me begin with, to be sincere, youth are the way he has done. We have an aging personnel. In fact, it's about 55%. So it's correct. Reason being, I've never employed since 2017. The people I brought on board are 45. I've just employed CEC, which I want to say there's no youth.
Why?
But the CEOs have youth.
Why can't
now,
you have
the
a CEC?
CEC, I did something that was very unique. I urged the people to apply. The CECs in Baringo applied. And I had a team that selected. So at that time, I want to believe that now, because we have known that we can also just pick direct. But for the CEOs, out of the very many CEOs, we have a number of youth. The one who came for agriculture, Dirangu, is a youth. I found him in the Shamba after Moi University. Kisegu is a youth. Even now, she is still a youth. The CEO Kisegu is a youth. And we have also Engineer Gupta, who is still a youth, as far as between 18 and 35 is concerned. So I want to believe that probably going forward, because we are now out to employ, that the number of those that are going to come on board are going to be youth.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But on gender, I want to simply also...
No. We moved on gender. You have no commitment or a female candidate, so it's fine. Cheboy, please. Hand over the microphone to Cheboy.
Thank you very much. I think it is it's important to appreciate that youth is a big population in our county. And any employment that does not target youth now is not, and you cannot employ old people for opportunities within the county, except perhaps for the senior positions, that you may not do that. But I can assure you that my policy is equitable distribution of opportunity to all, from gender to PWDs and the youth. But now, the issue is, how many youth can you employ within the county? We have to develop a system. We have to tweak the economy so that we can begin to provide opportunities for them, both within the county to do business, to support them in doing business, to support them in getting technology.
Seven slots from that. No, it will be, I'll employ 20 CEOs and 10 CEs, so they are 30 in total, because I want every ward to be represented in my government. So I will have 10 slots for the young people. I have many other programs for the young people, including creating or securing about 5,000 job opportunities per year, both locally and also internationally.
Okay.
I want to also promote talent for the young people. The youth empowerment centers that are here need to be equipped and need to be operationalized. I will create them into ICT hubs so that the young people can have free Wi-Fi and they can do online jobs, and they can also be able to apply for tenders in government. I will do so much for the young people.
Okay. Chalagat.
Yeah, while I will endeavor to ensure that there is equitable distribution of opportunities, at the same time resources, I am more concerned of performance and service delivery. I won't mind taking as many youths as I can if they compete competitively and they prove that they can deliver very well to the people of Baringo County. So it's the question of the capacity and ability to deliver. Otherwise, I have no problem. I will ensure that there is that equitable distribution of the opportunities.
Okay, okay. Cielo.
I lead a team here in East Africa for the Private Equity Kingdom Capital, and the chief legal officer is a lady, operation officer is a lady, marketing is a lady, so I have no problem whatsoever working with ladies, but that is going to be arranged when we go forward. Now, coming to the question of youth, of course I'm just getting to 40. And to be getting to 40, that means I am the one who is the closest and understand the technological advancement in the world, and I am the one who can be able to work very closely with the youth.
What is close to 40, please?
I'm getting to 40 years old, that's what I'm saying.
So you're 39?
So I'm 39 going to 40.
Okay.
Yeah, and that means I am the one who is representing the face of Baringo County, of the energy of the future. We are the people of the future, and the youth are the people I represent. TVET will be one place I will be working, because I've already worked with private equity to finance fintechs and to see how we can venture into such ideas and concepts that are sometimes community and socially impactful. And I will do that with the youth, not just in absorbing them into the government, but James Smart had already said we have to restructure the way we do things in this county. And the best way to do it is to turn Baringo into a homeland of business. It is business, and youth will get jobs.
Okay.
Jobs and jobs.
Professor.
Yes, I appreciate the fact that youth play a very crucial role. It's unfortunate after several years that we have not developed talent in this county. We don't have any athletics camp, which is funded fully by the county government. These are the avenues which we can use to ensure that we take care of the needs of the youth. So when I'm given the opportunity of being the governor, I will ensure that we exploit fully talent development so that we allow the youth to exploit their talent, and through that means they will be able to make income for themselves. Number two, through my government also, partnership and linkages is very important, so that we look at opportunities not only in Kenya, we look at opportunities not only in the county, but also we go international. And that requires that we should develop partnership and linkages so that we are able to ensure our youth are taken care of. When it comes to issues, procurement and etc., it is practice, it's a requirement that 30% should also be given to youth. And therefore, if they don't have funds, I will be able, in my government, to facilitate them participating in the county procurement processes, so that when you do that, you will be allowing them to build their financial base. Lastly, on the same, I'm also a believer of ensuring that the youth become part of my government. So 30% of the CECs, 30% of the CEOs will be part of the youth, people less than 35 years, because I believe in building them. I believe they will make a contribution in the government, and I will live by it.
Okay, thank you. Isn't it?
I hope you'll give me more time since I'm the last one on this topic. So James Smart, in Eldama Ravine constituency, the constituency for which I represent at the moment, we set up an ICT hub, a world-class ICT hub. If you come to Mwachon, a village called Mwachon, you'll find the Rift Valley ICT hub, where the youth in that region are able to access free internet. At the same time, in Eldama Ravine. If you come to Eldama Ravine, we were able to operationalize the Eldama Ravine Technical Training Institute, so that the youth can be able to get the relevant skill. If you come to Eldama Ravine in terms of talent development, we have been purposely running Eldama Ravine Half Marathon and sometimes Chimazuzu Dam Half Marathon, again to identify talent. Now, James Smart, this story of youth is it's big. It's more serious than the way we are taking it. I just said at the beginning that in this county, when 10,000 candidates sit Form 4 exams, 6,000 get D+ and below. Of course, in Kenya, you know, when 700 sit that Form 4 exam, 431,000 get D+ and below. That is where my focus is, to make sure that 4,500 every year of that group, of that D+ and below, must get the relevant skill every year. I've done my maths. I need to spend 100 million to make sure that 4,500 youth get that skill. In this county, James Smart, and also in Kenya, there are so many youth who are engaged in borders and border circles. They ride the whole day, but they take nothing home. Why? Because they have to pay whoever facilitated them to get that motorbike, the banks or the Fulizas of this world and all that. We must create credit for the youth in Baringo so that border business becomes a relevant business, so that it becomes a real business. We also have a big story on graduates. We have so many graduates who degree holders and diploma holders who are jobless. That is a story for the party I belong, the story for UDA. I am not here to tell you about that story. It's a big story. We'll be unveiling it very soon as UDA in terms of what are we going to do for degree holders, what are we going to do for diploma holders.
Okay.
But my story is about the D+ and below. I intend to run a very lean government. I know the cost of an additional CEC, that you need 10 million shillings per year for you to have a CEC. So if I take the maximum, if I take 10 CECs against the minimum, if I take 6 instead of 10, I'll have saved 40 million, which can support so many other human beings. And again, I know the cost of one chief officer per year, not less than 7 million shillings. You take 20, my friend, that's a lot of money, which we need. We need to run a lean government. I intend to run a lean government which can benefit many people in this county. I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. There's the question on tourism and hospitality to tie into this question. And it so appears that Baringo County is not branding itself correctly. This is the home of Lake Baringo, Bogoria, Cap Narok, known as the paradise for bird watchers, right? And we're not branding it correctly. Something is not happening that should happen in this sense. Professor, let me start with you. On the question of how Baringo can start selling itself in terms of tourism, in terms of hospitality, what are your ideas on fixing this and branding this county correctly?
Yeah, thank you very much. One, I've had the privilege of serving as a PS in charge of wildlife. That was my last appointment in government. And it is true that Baringo County has scenic areas. It has also Tukumoi. It is known internationally for bird watching. In fact, there are some birds which come from Europe, and their stopover is Tukumoi area. And in our tourism circuit in the ministry, we've identified those very important areas which can sell Baringo. And so, apart from the lakes, we also have a geopark, which was also accredited by UNESCO, so that it is part of the geoparks internationally known. So all those important areas, like Lake Bogoria and ETC, they have been mapped in the tourism circuit for North Rift and also in Rift Valley. So the idea now is to go to the next level. In fact, in the ministry, we thought we will be able to actualize some factors, but because of the COVID issues, there was some restriction a little bit. Okay. But I must say that the contribution I've made in the ministry is to ensure that we've documented through Kenya Tourism Board all the scenic areas, all the tourism circuits cutting across Rift Valley, and it includes also Baringo.
All right.
Number two, I also want to encourage the investors, and the investors for this case is me and you, the great people of Baringo. Can we invest in our county? The reason is when we get tourists coming to Baringo County to come and watch our scenic, our lakes and ETC, their bed space is being taken by either Nakuru County or Uasin Gishu County, or Elgeyo Marakwet for that matter. So it is important that we upscale the issue of hospitality. We should be able to build more resort centers so that when people come to Baringo, they are able not only to look at the scenic and with the tourism sites we have, they should also be able to spend in the county, because it is true that spending in the county 2 days, 2 nights, or 3 nights, that we will be able to get money circulating within the economy.
Okay, thank you.
So there are good plans for that, and I know tourism is an in thing, and all of us, if we believe in Baringo, let us invest in our county. And I'm going to lead by example, and I've already led by example to ensure that we are part of that process.
Thank you. Richard, do you have a good idea, a better idea on how tourism and hospitality, and how Baringo can brand itself and different?
Yes, absolutely. First, we have to document all our tourist products. Our tourism is not limited to what we see, Lake Bogoria and Lake Baringo. We have so many other potential tourism attraction sites. So I'll start by documenting. Secondly, we want to brand and market Baringo as a tourist destination. Because if people don't know what we offer, then they will not be able to come. We should also market local tourism. So I will market, brand, and ensure that everybody in this world knows Baringo products. We have cultural tourism. The level of culture that we have in Ilchamus, in Pokot, in other places, these are enough for tourism. We also have to invest in infrastructure. The infrastructure to access Lake Bogoria, as you may have traveled, is so pathetic. The roads network is so bad. We have tourist attraction sites in Tenges, in a place called Kureswa. There are so many ills. Lastly, investment in hospitality. We have to attract the investors, and I'll borrow from Professor. We have to reach out there, because there are people who have ability to build 5-star, 3-star hotels in Baringo. And these are sons and daughters of Baringo who are able to do great things here. We will want to maximize from tourism. I want to promise that through tourism, we will have to raise up to 200, 300 million to this economy through tourism. Thank you.
Okay. Governor, do you have a good idea and a better idea on how to do this county differently and how to brand it differently?
I want to appreciate the sentiment made. It is very true that we are number 18. Yet we are supposed to be not further than number 5. We have scenic sites. We appreciate that. We are informed that the Aliman are already into Canizes. It was a fossil that was found in Rondinin. The other day I had to look for it until we found those guys who took it. And we are now establishing a museum at Rondinin. We have set aside 11 million for that purpose. We want also to appreciate the various forms of tourism activities that are in Baringo. I've hosted Safari Rally. I've also hosted Rhino Church. And recently, as Professor has indicated, Baringo became the first county to have the status of a geopark, which we are working with UNESCO to ensure that all those sites, and you can also attest to this, that within Baringo now, they have put some signs indicating sites that are going to be of tourist attractions in Baringo County. We have also the third leg, Lake Abnarok, that is being managed by us and national government. We are yet to agree with the locals there, and also some input from national government, so as to ensure that we foster tourism in that side. So that Keyo, like for example in Kenya, Masai Mara, and the other side of Tanzania, Serengeti, the animals are the same. But Tanzania are enjoying what comes out of that side of tourism together with Kenya. So we would wish that Elgeyo Marakwet and us also enjoy like Abnarok. So for that matter, we have also, with Kimosop and the Department of Environment and Tourism, they have also come up with some nature trails, like it is in other parts of the world. So somebody will run in the Mount Kenya, and then come straight all the way to this very scenic region, and then maybe get a plane in Eldoret. So they commenced last year, and allow me to appreciate also those of us who are seated here. We have those of them that have also fostered tourism in Baringo. They were in Samo. The other day they were in Kerio Valley. Let's continue also marketing Baringo County together. Yeah, we have put some budget constraint was with us, also Fuliza. But now we are through with Fuliza. We're going to ensure that this site attracts also substantial amount of budget that will enable us foster tourism in Baringo County. On hospitality, let me request those of us who are here, if God has blessed you, please, we don't have hospitality interest here. It's still very low. Come and invest in those sites that are going to be shown to you by the Department of Environment and Tourism. With those few remarks, I want to say we have conservancies also. They are 13 in number. It's going to be grown into 60 because we are working together with the national government to ensure that Baringo becomes a tourist. Other than Mombasa and Masai Mara, Baringo becomes the third or the first. Thank you very much.
I hear you. Chaboy, do you have a good idea?
Thank you, Mr. Smart. We started this business of marketing Baringo County during the time that I was governor. Of course, you cannot market a product which is not there. And the first thing that we were doing was to develop the products. And of course, what he's telling you about conservancies are things that we developed. And infrastructure around all the tourist area, we invested quite heavily in during my term. We won Miss Tourism. And we used that during our time. We won Miss Tourism, actually not Kenya, Africa, and actually she went up to the finals in the international tourism fit. So what I'm trying to say to you is we need to build on where we have started and move to the next level. Critical, of course, is to try to support any investor in the tourism sector so that we can be able to support what we are marketing. Before you do that, you must market and make sure that the infrastructure is, and that's what we are going to do when we get back to government in September. It is a question of building on where we were. The last time we had a very big conference on marketing, not only of marketing of tourism in Baringo County, but we are marketing all products of Baringo County. Thank you.
Okay, Listenet.
Yeah, I'm also worried, like you, James Smart, why in Lake Bogoria we only have one hotel in Lake Bogoria. Why have we allowed just one hotel to operate in Lake Bogoria? I'm also worried, why is it that we allowed the Lake Kapnarok Game Reserve to collapse while we had governors and serious people and CECs? Lake Kapnarok Game Reserve collapsed. So I'm here to tell you that when I become governor, we shall allow more investors to put up hotels in Lake Bogoria and in Lake Baringo. Again, to attract investment in that industry of tourism, we are also going to make sure that land now is a very expensive affair. We shall make sure that the county provides land on lease basis, 20 years, 30 years basis, so that people will find it cheaper to come and put up their tented camps here in Baringo, to come and put up their hotels here in Baringo without the additional investment of land. I am focused on such investors because I believe it is through them that they can properly advertise the tourism opportunities in Baringo. When you visit Tiati, I have succeeded to be in Tiati for many days. The opportunities for tourism are unbelievable in Tiati. Inside Tiati, there's no business, there's no insecurity. So the opportunities are there. We just need to provide investors with land, and yes, Baringo will become more attractive to tourists.
All right, Cialo.
First of all, of course, is to secure Baringo, because that's the most important thing. And so I'll work very closely with the national government, because if this place is secure, then we can attract investment tourism. We want also to ensure that we introduce new attractions, first of all, to rehabilitate the touristic, the scenic, attractive places in Baringo, the beautiful places like Lake Kapnarok. I will immediately go there and desilt it. There's a machine here in Eldoret that can do that job. We will ensure that we work. Actually, the word of this thing is called partnership, so that we can build more hotels and tap into cultural tourism, tap into sports culture tourism, because we want to have from Eldama Ravine all the way to Pokot some international standard golf course so that people can come here every 2 months in this county. And I promise I am going to be the chief marketing officer of this county to ensure that we understand that when we talk about tourism, we're not talking about someone with a white skin. We're talking about the ability of people in Mombasa, in Nairobi, in Kisumu to travel to Baringo. And the only way we can do that is to make this homeland attractive. And the only way to make this land attractive is to tap into our sons and daughters who are able to do this investment and also to partner with private capital.
Okay.
That's basically what it is.
All right. Talagat, you have the final word on the question on tourism and hospitality.
Yeah, given the opportunity, I will immediately source for funds to do what we call a quick SWOT analysis, come up with a workable strategic plan that can enable us move tourism and hospitality sector to the next level.
Okay, that is short and concise and to the point. Governor, there's a question from the audience. What did you mean by Fuliza?
The growth rate, especially for our calves, weaners, and heifers, also will be affected significantly. So this year, actually, I'm really worried because of the cost of fertilizer. For example, the DAP is going between 5,800 and 6,000.
And as the Russia-Ukraine war continues, the Food and Agriculture Organization says that wheat prices have risen by 50% in the 50 countries in the Asia-Pacific, Sub-Sahara, and near the east and north of Africa, and with it sparking a third rise in global food prices in the last 15 years.
But it's illustrative of the nature of the food system, the global food supply chains, especially for staple grains. It's a system that's highly specialized, it's highly industrialized and dependent on fossil fuels for fertilizer as well as mechanization, et cetera. And it's also highly trade oriented. And so we have a system where just a handful of countries that are basically producing these grains and dominating the export markets, which makes supply chains very rigid and very vulnerable.
The global price spike will affect every country, wherever it's getting its grain from. Even if it's growing it domestically, there tends to be leakage from international markets to local prices and so on. So whilst the particularly acute areas will be the ones that import from Ukraine and Russia, as Jennifer said, there will be grain on the global markets. It's just going to cost more for them to replace.
Experts are now recommending global consensus in controlling prices of global staples like maize and wheat, as well as the over-reliance on animal products.
We need rules that prevent automated trading from exacerbating the price swings that are happen, because much of the commodity trade on futures markets is done through algorithms and automatic trading. And we need stricter position limits on the kinds of food commodities that are important for food security, like wheat and maize.
China is a big importer. Over the last 5 years, 10 years ago, it was not. And since 2015-16, it has started to import from Russia and Ukraine, and imports the equivalent of 10 million tons of grain a year, which is huge, more than the Northern Africa countries are importing. And the harvest in China for this year, for 2022, is expected to be not that good, even though the Ministry of Agriculture in China is trying to give, positive signals. So China is not at all in a position to play a role to compensate for the stock being kept in Ukraine.
For Warui, being thousands of miles away from a war whose cause he might not fully grasp, has not insulated him from the negative impacts of the Russia and Ukraine war, countries he relies on to feed his livestock. Bridget, Ghana, NTV, Nakuru.
We used to irrigate and we do fodder on the other side.
Now, a number of regional policies and strategies have been endorsed by health ministers from the region in partnership with IGAD for the future of health in the continent. The ministers agreed to break the silo mentality, and embrace regional cooperation. Fatma Bugu has more.
Critical health challenges and the impact of COVID-19 pandemic in the country and globally were discussed during the 13th IGAD Health Ministerial meeting in Mombasa County. The ministers agreed on harmonization of pandemic policies in the region due to the vulnerability of the countries in health, politics, and economic matters.
Today, we discussed about the area of cooperation, especially in the refugee areas, host communities, and vulnerable population, how to bring the health to the community, especially since one country alone cannot combat the challenge of health.
As the world's health systems are stretched to their limits, IGAD says it has addressed the health concerns of cross-border migrants and refugees.
A disease in one country will inevitably be a disease in all countries. That we have learned from COVID-19 that cooperation is the only way that we can be able to tackle the health challenges that we have ahead of us.
They have urged nations to come together and have regional health standards to ease people's movement and remove tariffs to economic growth and prosperity.
We also agreed on the need for building on health workers' capital so that we are, as a region, capable of taking care of ourselves with enough efficient and well-trained workforce.
However, Muteikagwe has urged development banks and multilateral partners to support regional and local health initiatives in Africa. Fatima Bogo, NTV, Mombasa.
That's it for part 2 of the bulletin. We take a short break. Once again, I'll be back with the business before you know it.
One, two, three.
For 6. Did you say 6? Fungua app. Ding dong, double. Your favorite moment.
Now your favorite ice cream.
Ding dong, double.
It's so good.
Order what you want to Taleta what you want. Ding dong, double.
Order it now. Download the app, order a Glovo, and we get it.
Ding dong, double.
Today we're on Happy Kenya Clean Toilet Mission. And we're visiting Mama Zawadi live in Nairobi. Come with me. Selena, kumbe ni wewe. Mama Zawadi, would you like to join me on the Happy mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question. How do you keep your toilets clean?
Selena, I use normal detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. Na nimezitumia kwa miaka mingi.
Lakini Mama Zawadi, detergent and bleach cleanless can leave behind yellowness, rust and germs. To clean your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. Harpic's 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach, and kills 99.9% illness-causing germs in your toilet, including the COVID-19 virus. So what do you think?
Wow, Selena! Nimeamini sasa!
Really? Yes! Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours. Oh.
You do your best out there, let us do our best in here with the disinfecting power of Jake. Because Jake cleans and kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs and COVID-19 in your home. Jake, your family's guardian against germs and COVID-19.
Like every mother, I'm worried about dangerous insects, especially mosquitoes, which spread diseases like malaria to my loved ones. This year, I'm not afraid. I'm using Mortein Doom. Mortein Doom All Insect Killer provides protection in seconds. Not even a single mosquito is spared, because even one mosquito bite can cause malaria. Mortein Doom provides protection in seconds.
Nana is my name. My daughter is constantly online these days because, well, it's the new normal way for them to learn. Now, whether here at home or in school, it is important to work with them online so that you find out more about what they're looking for. Also, find out what is out there, because the things I've seen online. So for me, passwords on gadgets is a must.
Being fooled online? Get CyberSmart to enjoy safe entertainment and education online. The Communications Authority of Kenya. Mawasiliano kwetu, nguvu kwako.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust. Try Panadol Advance. With Panadol's Optizode formula, the tablet absorbs quickly and starts providing fast and effective pain relief you can trust. Try Panadol Advance.
Jina langu ni David Waku, mimi ni professional golfer. Namshukuru sana baba yangu, alinijulisha kwa mchezo wa golf na kunipa ujasiri wa kuwatambulisha wengine kwa mchezo huu. Nilipoanza nililenga vizuri nafasi yangu na kuonyesha ujuzi na kutimiza ndoto zangu. Mwanzo nilitishika, lakini nilipopata nafasi ya kucheza mchezo huu maridadi, nilipata ujasiri wa kuutumia vyema. Kama yalivyo maisha, golf inahusu uvumilivu na udhabiti. Ili kushinda, nilihitajika kuweka juhudi na kufanya kazi kwa bidii zaidi kuliko wengine wote. Uwezo wa kuwa bingwa ulikuwa ndani yangu, na kila nilipolenga na kupiga, ndivyo nilizidi kukaribia nia yangu ya kuwa mfalme wa mchezo huu.
David Waku,
alibadili kila jaribio lake kuwa fursa. Anza safari yako mwenyewe ya mabadiliko katika Safaricom Golf Tour.
Since the pandemic, all mums know to be cautious of the many kinds of everyday germs that spread easily. Get peace of mind and protect the ones you love with the power of Dettol Bar Soap. It cleans and protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. So no matter what type of mum you are, trust Dettol.
Dettol antibacterial soap 60 grams is now 50 shillings.
NTV Business News in association with Family Bank. Welcome to the family, your home of agribusiness, because you can always bank on family. Fuzu na family.
Now let's get down to business. The introduction of Prosopis juliflora plant, commonly referred to as the madenge tree in arid and semi-arid regions of Kenya, brought about excitement among pastoralists because of its resilience, fast growth rate, and its many uses as fodder. For some years down the line, locals have to deal with some of the challenges associated with this invasive plant. Scientists are now proposing introduction of a different species that does not colonize other indigenous trees. Our reporter Gabriel Kudaka was in Turkana and West Pokot counties and reports on the effects of this plant.
This is what strikes your eyes as you traverse some parts of Turkana and West Pokot counties. Green, lush vegetation dotting the landscape that was once bare. Majority of the residents here who are pastoralists hail the Prosopis juliflora plant, better known as madenge tree, for its fodder benefits, among others.
Tunatumia maposti, pitos, na mbegu pia. Hizi ni viko vinakula.
It had no trees. It had bare land. But when Prosopis was introduced in our place, the whole place is almost green.
But the negative effects of the plant are being felt in some parts of the counties. Esther Ekiru from Chokul Tom in Turkana Central is among those feeling the pinch.
Kama nadunga hapa kwa ndole, nusumu, nikudungu kama mkono, kama mguu napura.
Nararua hii watu. Hii miti ni baya. Ni baya sana.
In Loima region, also in Turkana County, and some parts of Sigor in West Pokot, locals feel similar challenges.
Mahali hii madenge inadunga, hiyo mguu ya binadamu hiyo inaweza katwa.
After it was introduced as a species which was supposed to be assisting on issues to do with soil erosion, basically reversing land degradation, but now it has turned out to be a species which is a problem species.
Agricultural activities have also been affected as a result. Now, residents have since learned how to coexist with this invasive plant, locally referred to as ngetirai, and make the best out of it. A classic case of making lemonade out of lemons. The county governments of Turkana and West Pokot have come up with strategies to mitigate against the invasion of this plant, but with little success.
We've allowed our people to produce charcoal commercially from Prosopis juliflora.
Kuna policy ilikuwa inaendelea kuwa developed ambayo itasaidia control hii invasive trees.
Researchers from Masinde Muliro University under the project dubbed Building Research Capacity for Sustainable Water and Food Security in Sub-Saharan Africa are now recommending introduction of a friendly species that does not colonize other indigenous trees.
Mmea huu umetatiza uwepo wa zile aina tofauti za miti kama acacia ambazo kwa muda mwingi sana, kwa miaka mingi sana, jamii za wafugaji wa pande huu wa West Pokot pamoja na Turkana wamekuwa wakitegemea
According to Mosheru, the government is implementing the ICT policy of 2020, which makes it a requirement for any company operating in Kenya to have at least 30% substantive Kenyan ownership, to be licensed by the Communications Authority and be able to provide ICT services in Kenya. The requirement is an increase from the 20% formerly required of telecommunications licensees under the law. Mosheru also stressed on the need for research institutions to collaborate with financial sectors and government in securing value for innovations.
Disruption and unprecedented challenges, including our youth losing their source of livelihood.
We are a nation of a vibrant and highly educated population. When harnessed well, we could create amazing products with the potential to change the world.
We have to start to think about technologies that will very quickly turn around and make money for us. And identifying those innovations and incubating those innovations is one of the ways to go forward.
This Youth Innovation and Entrepreneurship Week is one such avenue. And I'm happy to note that JKUAT students are amongst those showcasing their innovative ideas.
Players in the real estate sector are working towards encouraging stakeholders to invest in homes and mortgages by providing more transparency in the market and offering digital platforms that offer guidance. With real estate generally remaining inconsistent with the rise in global oil prices, demand for the dollar, and further fueled by the Russia-Ukraine war, the sector still hopes for a comeback with the ease of containment measures and rollout of vaccines. Investors are therefore encouraged to invest in homes as the industry is set to accommodate more people by providing affordable housing for all and making information on housing available to the buyer.
Turning to the commercial sector, with the lifting of COVID-19 containment measures and the rollout of vaccinations, employees are now able to return to work full-time. And this has led to business activities in the commercial office front, but also some businesses resuming full operations, thus boosting the occupancy rates.
I was reading a report from World Bank, and they were projecting that 2020-2021, they were projecting for GDP to grow to about 5%. I saw the same report. They are now saying that 2022-2023, we expect about 4.9% growth of GDP. That means that regardless of the challenges that we've been having, including the pandemic, we still have hope in this country that the industry, the real estate industry and other industries, we are growing.
Manufacturing companies based in the county of Kericho are being urged to give at least 70% job opportunities to the local residents. Speaking at Kotaburot Trading Center, the locals of Soin constituency are urging over 10 companies in the manufacturing sector to employ the youth in the county so as to reduce the rate of unemployment being witnessed among the young people. They have also been urged to undertake corporate social responsibility programs for the community at large.
We've managed one with Rai, where they are drilling water at a place called Ngomwet, next to Kirwa, where most of the women and household will benefit. Most of the companies are yet to embrace the CSR factor of employment, which is a requirement under the law for the companies that are existing in a community.
Business is done. I'm done, but I'm not done. I'll be having more after this break.
NTV Business News in association with Family Bank. Welcome to the family, your home of agribusiness, because you can always bank on family. Fuzu na family.
By looking at the way they treat their vulnerable groups, the aged, the people living with disabilities, the orphans, and so on and so forth. I want to assure this group here that during our time, we are very sensitive to people living with disabilities. We are also very sensitive to people, children or orphans. Our scholarship program or bursary program was targeted specifically to orphans and parents or children of people living with disabilities. We did and were able to employ specifically, we did specific adverts for people living with disabilities to be employed in our offices. And one of them was a very small girl who was not having, who was disabled in a special way. And luckily, after she got employed by ourselves, she got a boyfriend and got married and got babies. What I would like to say is that we need to deepen our sensitivity to people who are vulnerable. And I can tell you, and sometimes we need also to be honest. Some of us here have pushed at the national level for the nomination of close relatives, as opposed to even selecting people with disabilities. And one of the people who is aspiring to be governor here knows that he pushed for the nomination of his own sister-in-law during the time that I was governor. So let us not sugarcoat issues.
Okay.
Let us help them the way it should be done.
All right.
Thank you very much. They say disability is not inability.